feel free to tell me if I'm wrong about anything that I'm thinking as I've been listening to these tracks, you know.
Aye.
Of course, all I can do is listen and think stuff. And maybe I try too hard to make connections, but to me this feels like a strong opener because it feels to me so much like an introduction to the cast of characters. It's like, welcome to the album. Here are our players. You know, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. Was that intentional?
It wasn't intentional, but it was actually probably... I mean, there was 2 tracks we worked on first, and it was basically track 1 and track 2 are the first things we worked on as a kind of for the project.
Sure.
And initially it just I mean, I can tell you the backstory if you want.
I'd love to hear it. Absolutely.
So I'd Brìghde was in the Radio 2 Young Folk Awards in 2016, I think it was, and she won it that year. I think she was the youngest person to ever win that award.
Yeah, I remember because I voted for it, and I thought to myself, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this since I live outside of Scotland, but I'm just going to go for it anyway.
Aye, but so, sorry, did you hear that wee buzz off the email coming in? I'm going to switch it off anyway.
Not at all.
Yeah, so I hadn't heard of her at this point, but then the Radio 2 Awards, they put out an album of all the winners, you know, like a compilation album.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I heard this track, you know, of Brìghde playing the C-Smallpipes, and was blown away by her playing, her style. It kind of, it's definitely like she sounds like where she's from, if you know what I mean. She's got this kind of, but she's also, you know, you get these all rounders in piping when they can. Brìghde was really big in the solos when she was younger, but she also has this really free flowing kind of Highland, kind of more dance style of playing the pipes. So I heard this track anyway, and then obviously I clocked her name, and then I think it was the year later in Piping Live that I met her, and I said, like, I'd love to learn some tunes with you, or just have just play some tunes, and if you're around in Glasgow, give me a shout and come into the flat, and we can have a jam, you know.
Yeah.
And it was actually, I was hearing that track was that I was sort of I want to get a set of sweet C-Smallpipes, you know.
You and everybody else, man. C-Smallpipes are hot right now.
Well, it's because of Brìghde, really, you know.
Yeah, is she the cause?
She's kind of started that kind of revolution, and then so I'd ordered these pipes, you know, and then so when I got the pipes, and then Brìghde came over to the house, and you know, we just started working on stuff, and just at that point I was sharing a flat with Steven Byrnes, who plays guitar and music. I did a lot of work with Steve actually on an album I did called Sanctuary, and also another one called Vanna. Me and Steve were basically kind of we kind of sculpted that together over the years.
I feel like have I seen him playing drums with you and Ali before too?
He's a drummer. He actually played drums and guitar on Vanna.
Yeah, okay.
He played both. So at that point we were living together. So I just said, you know, Steve, fancy coming in, just having a.
You just called him into the kitchen, just like, hey.
Yeah, it was that kind of way. It was really relaxed, like come and have a jam with us.
Yeah.
And then so that Green Light set, which is track 1, and then the Bulgarian set, which is track 2, they were the first sets that we kind of put together and that we worked on. So they were. So we'll go into your question. Was it kind of? It wasn't meant to happen like that, but it is quite a nice way of easing into an album, you know, and kind of.
Right.
I quite like sets when they kind of, you know, that you have a bit of a build.
Right.
It doesn't work so well for like Spotify and people that don't have any patience, you know.
you got to wait till the 2-minute mark before you hear the whole thing, huh?
Like a lot of people, it's not a lot of people. There's some folk had mentioned that with me and Ali Hutton's stuff, we've done a couple albums. Yeah. And some people that they all say it takes a bit too long to get going, but I quite like having, you know, I do them with albums as well. You know, like Journey albums. It's kind of I like the kind of story telling of doing music rather than just conforming to like that kind of Spotify pop thing. It's just like you've only got 3 minutes and you need to make an impression. I just think it's a bit of a waste just to kind of. But I mean, I suppose you have to do it as well. But I quite like I like albums, and I like when you know, when you can tell a story through that and taking your time, you know, it's a shame that it's kind of the way the music's gone, that you have to kind of, nobody's really got any kind of, like, people just like to get things straight away, and in 10 seconds they need to know, like, oh, I like that, you know.
Right, it's like the TikTok version of music, right?
It is, well, that's how it's kind of gone now, so it's a shame. But anyway, that track, them two tracks, they were the first kind of things we worked on, so...
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can see this happening as like a kind of, go ahead, Brìghde, you get started. Okay, now I'm going to hop in. You know, come on in, Steve, you know, kind of in a jam setting. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, totally.
And I mean, not that you need my vote of confidence to do your own thing, Ross. I think it's proven, just because by doing your own thing, you've got plenty of people who like it. But that was when I asked my friends, you know, what should we talk about? My friend Erin, she was like, hey, Ross is, she didn't even say one of my favorite pipers. She said he's here. I've got her quote right here. What she said was, she said, for me, he is at the forefront of balancing instrument voices and creativity in his writing and in his arrangements. So we as a fandom definitely recognize, like, there's something special about the way that you arrange tunes. So go ahead and stick with building and the journeys and stuff like that, Ross. We like it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Who was that, sorry, that said that?
That was Aaron Wolf.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
But no, I just... I don't know why I started to, you know, all these, like, I stopped drinking about 10 years ago, and it was from that, it was trying to kind of fill my time in a more creative way, in a kind of healthier way, and that's when I started to try and kind of make, like, Sanctuary. That was the first album of trying to do these journey, I just call them journey albums, because it's kind of like trying to make an album a track, if you know what I mean. Obviously it's not that, but I mean, in the same kind of way of trying to merge all the tracks, so if you don't look at the track skips, it'll hopefully skip with you without you noticing that it's skipping, if you know what I mean.
Totally. And that's exactly, I wanted to ask you, track 10, and again, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me like track 10, which is the last track on this album, is in every way an answer to track 1. They feel like bookends.
Again, it wasn't meant, but to be honest, with me and Brìghde's album, it's pretty much a straight ahead album of pipes, and I wouldn't call that a Journey album, because the Journey albums I would probably more do myself, and I would spend more of a personal time with it.
Yeah.
And try and it involves getting a bit deep, more like deeply into the kind of music. This album of Brìghde is definitely more. I mean, there's thought to it, but it's definitely more of a straight ahead. Yeah. This is us in the studio. This is what we used to. This is how we were playing in the flat. We kind of wanted to recreate how we worked on the music and how we, played it in the flat, because basically we were having a jam. Mm-hmm. It was never meant to be it was never meant to be an album or a band, really. At first, it was basically just to get together to learn some tunes, right. And I wanted to learn off of Brìghde and kind of and have some and just play, just have fun playing the pipes and doing something a wee bit different.
Yeah.
But and the things that Brìghde that I first kind of when we first started hanging out was that she was saying she went to Bulgaria when she was like 18.
Yeah.
And she just on her own, just.
Did she really?
Yeah, she just went. 18-year-old went to Bulgaria. She travelled around and she found like Bulgarian pipers out there, and then she would film some of these guys playing, and then when she got home, she kind of transcribed the tunes to fit on the small pipes. And honestly, I've seen the videos, and she's got quite an amazing musical head, Brìghde. She is quite young, but she's smart with music, because like it would take me a long time to decipher these videos, because they're not. I think it's a different key, and you also don't get the notes. Some of the notes.
It's not a straight
on the
over.
small pipes. Yeah, so she tapes up a lot of notes to make it work, and then halfway through you've got to rip the tape off.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. But she managed to suss all that out. So she's and that was one of the things that first of all that I wanted to learn was these Bulgarian tunes, because they were so different to music that I've been playing. And even on the kind of border pipes, when you can get all these different notes, it's a bit more the music's a bit more trancey, and it's kind of like once you get into the groove of it, it's quite riffy, it's quite it's like riff kind of trance music kind of thing, but obviously it's meant for dancing, but it's also pretty cool.
Yeah,
I feel like the music you get in Scotland for dancing is not. You wouldn't say it's cool,
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I'd say it's cool, right? but
some of it's cool, but the older stuff, like kind of like the kind of the Cayley band stuff can be quite cheesy.
Yeah. No, I totally understand what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second track on the album that you mentioned, having been one of the first ones that you played together, is just called Bulgarian. And that
Bulgarian,
the way you describe it as riffy makes a lot of sense, because like I woke up this morning with that just running through my head. Just that riff was just circling on my head.
Yeah, it's quite tribal.
It is, yeah.
there's a good video. There's a band that Brìghde got that from, and I'll need to send you the video, but it's on YouTube. But you can see the way they use that in terms of their dance, because there's a festival, and you see all the people that this big line, it's like a snake almost going around, but quite a slow. But like, obviously it's a fast dance, but the snake's kind of going round quite slowly, and it's all like a big audience thing. It's quite like druid kind of stuff, But like, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ross.
No, that track is actually got released. Well, today, but tomorrow for you when this goes out. So on the 19th. Friday the 19th, that track Bulgarian is out on Spotify now, so it's
a little leading
it's just leading up, yeah. So the whole album gets released next Friday on the 2nd, but that track Bulgarian is out today or tomorrow.
I'll make sure there are links to that, and to I think, didn't you guys put out a video too early on? Was that Bulgarian
before
as well?
COVID? Before COVID.
Oh, it was that long ago, really?
It was the green light set, track 1 and track 2. Basically, we did videos of them way before COVID.
So that was before the album was really even being put.
We didn't even have an album.
Just a fun jam.
We were just getting stuff together. Thought, well, we should put. And also, there's one from, you could find the video on YouTube of us in the flat playing the Bulgarian. That was the first thing we ever recorded. It was just off the phone. Mm-hmm. But that was the kind of first time we'd ever recorded, filmed. That was just after us being in the flat working, so it's quite cool to see us,
Yeah.
Where we played. So that's when we tried to record. You'll see how close we were, and that's how close we were in the studio. We didn't have any headphones on. We just blasted it out as, we wanted to do it that way. Like sometimes I'm kind of going more, like doing studio albums is good, and it's kind of you can get things precise. And but I'm kind of going back the way to like I just like doing albums when you can actually play as a unit, because I absolutely hate editing. Like that's I've got a real hate for editing. So like if you can play as a unit, you don't really have to edit. It's almost you're editing when you play, so if you make a mistake, then you obviously just do it again,
Yeah, I remember was it Remembering that you did at Teapot, where it was just
that
like,
was
just
kind of like a live kind of thing, yeah. And also we did, like after we did Vanna, I made a film of the Sanctuary Band with my pal Sorley McDonald, who so we basically did Vanna again, but in the studio live set up, but it's also a documentary kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's a documentary plus we made an album from it as well, and that was us all sitting in the studio playing. And I think I actually prefer that version of the album because it feels a bit more human. And I mean, sometimes you just have to live with stuff. It's not
right
perfect, but it's like. So it just means you've got two ways of doing it. You can either spend the time before making the album and really, really getting rehearsed up as a band, or you can spend the time after going through all the takes and cleaning things up. They're both the same process. It's both the same time pretty much.
Right.
But then it's just what you either do at the start of the album or you do it at the end of the album. When you're layering tracks up, you can't layer to stuff that's out of time, so it's like you're almost so it takes a lot of time to get things in order for then to get the other guy in to do his parts and get the other guy in to do his parts. So it's just different processes. They both work well, but it's just for a musician, for yourself as a musician recording, it's way more fun, and you can look back and go, I remember doing that. I remember how we felt when we did that take.
Yeah. And
also you all remember like. When you do a good take as a band, or even like when we record with Brìghde, as soon as you finish that track, everyone goes, "That's the one,"
Oh yeah.
And you don't even have to listen back. It's like that was it. And even if there's a wee mistake, you just go, "No, it doesn't matter," because it's like if you're feeling it when you're recording it, it definitely translates to the listener. Like there's no doubt about it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so in that way, it's kind of I like it better because you can go, well, I remember doing that. I remember the feeling when we finished that track. It was. you know, we're like, yeah, like everyone was like excited, and you know, you're running into the studio, into the control room, and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's better than going onto a wee booth yourself, and it's just you and the engineer, and then, you know, you're just.
That's when you get stuck in your head, right? And like one little measure will trip you up over and over again because you just want to get it exactly perfect.
Yeah, and you can get it perfect, but it's just a bit more stale environment, you know. What I mean? But both are good results. It's just, I think the older I'm getting, I think I just like the rawness. Especially, it depends what music it is. For the kind of for tunes, Scottish tunes, or kind of like contemporary modern Scottish tunes, it kind of, or you know, like just Celtic music, whatever, folk music. It kind of needs that humanness.
Yeah.
You know, unless there's a drum kit. If there's a drum kit there and it's a more a rocky thing, then it does help to kind of get things really honed in, and because you can hear when things are out of time more than if it's just like the tunes with a guitar or bouzouki or. But sometimes it's nice when things when they speed up and slow down and go like it's like a movable thing. It's quite nice.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, or you're foot stomping, right? I have noticed that you're a serious foot stomper.
I know. Well, we tried to keep that a wee bit. I actually mic'd my foot up for Brìghde's album.
Did you?
We tamed it some places, but I think I quite like hearing that sometimes because it's just
another human element, right?
It's natural.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So, I enjoy seeing in some of the videos when you'll put like a cushion under your foot so that it's not too loud because it's not like you can stop, you know.
Totally. No, you kind of need it. It's part of the thing.
Yeah. Well, another I think another Bulgarian tune on the album is Lichko Leo. I might not be pronouncing it right. Actually, speaking of that, what the name of the album is LAS. Is that Las LAS? Like what? How should I say it when I'm talking to people?
I'm not a Gaelic speaker, so you'll know better than you'll know as much as me. Brìghde's the Gaelic speaker, but Las I think it is, but it means light the fire or. Actually, I'll tell you what. Brìghde posted something today.
Did she?
Let me just have a wee quick check.
Yeah,
what
for sure.
It was. So she put it up, and it says.
And it's LAS. It's not LASS. So it's not like Lassie.
No, Lass. Let me just see. So Lass, kindle, light, ignite, flame, blaze, burn. But then also like light the fire kind of thing in Gaelic. So we just thought it was quite a nice title with the wood of the pipes, and it tied in with Sorley, our pal. He did the design. It was one of his it's his artwork.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's his painting. So he's done every album I wouldn't use anyone else. He's designed all my albums and all the kind of other spin-offs of what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's always been he's an artist in the kind of the, you know, he's a digital designer, graphic designer. He paints, photographer. He's kind of does it all, jack of all trades kind of thing. But it was more of a COVID thing. He started to get into doing the paintings, and then he did really well. You know, it kind of like kept him going over COVID. So he's but that particular one's I think it was maybe his first go at trees.
It's beautiful. I'm really actually surprised it's the same person, because I was going to ask you about, because like your black and white photography albums, right? The Vana and the Gorbals single. Yeah. Was that a single or was that a full album now? Gorbals.
That's the live. That
was the live one.
That's the one.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah.
It's like those have a really distinctive, strong look, and they're really cool. And then there's like, you remember the Airfix album cover that you and Jarlath did?
Yeah, that's Sorley.
So it's like such a
Same
different
guy.
thing, though. That's amazing.
Same guy.
Did he do Symbiosis? That icon-looking Symbiosis.
Same guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have assumed that each of these were a different artist, just because they're so
all
distinctive.
The same.
That's
he's
awesome.
done every album that I've done. He's done all me and Ali's, me and Jars. Not me and Jars' first one, but he did Airfix.
Was that first one the one with the kids?
Yeah.
How much?
That was us in the jail. Partners in Crime.
Right. Partners in Crime.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So that was another. That wasn't most of the things I've done are on my label, but that first one was Vertical Records, so they kind of took care of that one. But so yeah, but it's good when you get a kind of working relationship with somebody, and to be honest, we can. it doesn't take us long now to get things together. So we both kind of trust each other's judgment. So I mean, we can get an album cover together in a couple of hours, you know, and then get the whole sleeve thing done in, you know, half a day now. So it's kind of it's good.
That's
I
awesome.
like working with Solly. And then also him doing the documentary. I'll need to get you a copy of it.
Yeah.
But it's he really went to town with it, and it was he did a brilliant job. Like, it's so good. There's like an hour and 15 minute kind of. Basically, it's us playing in the studio, but there's lots of interviews and stuff with all the guys in the band, and it'll be a good watch. You know, I'm just trying to get my website updated so that I can sell it and have a place for it to be sold. Because at the moment, it's difficult to host something like that.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
I don't know how you sell it, because nobody wants a 20 gig thing sitting on their computer. They just want to be able to go and stream it somewhere. So it's just, I'm just trying to suss that out. But
yeah,
but I'll get it together at the next couple of months. So.
I think I remember. I definitely enjoy watching that, because I remember watching one sort of like mini documentary that was done, I think, at Teapot. I remember Ali saying something like, Ross and I have been playing together since we were kids, so there's a you must involve me in your project's friendship clause or something like that.
No, totally. But that was a long time ago, that album.
Was it?
Oh, what was that? 2015.
The internet compresses everything, right? Because I can watch anything at any time, right? So.
No, I know. But no, that was. That the studio there, that's quite a unique studio. It's kind of round about that area. It's Perthshire. That's where I was kind of brought up. I was brought up in a place called Brìghde Chaimbeul, and that studio's in Dunning, which is only about 10 mile away.
Oh, gotcha. So it's kind of going home for you.
It's kind of, it was like the local kind of studio, but it's like really old school place that you can record, and it's.
It surprised me. I watched a concert with you, and what's his name? His last name's Eddie, I think.
Tim
yeah.
Eady.
Edie, yeah, that's right.
Well, he stays in Dunning now. He stays in that village where that studio is. So we've known each other for years, and we just decided, it was kind of just before COVID, decided to work on doing some duo stuff, and it's been great fun. He's brilliant to play with. He's like he's a genius, you know.
Oh, it comes across.
He's phenomenal,
and so nice too. Like, so nice.
He's a lovely
and happy
guy
about it, you know.
Totally.
But yeah, I saw that video and I was like, where are they? You know, like, I thought you were in like a kitchen or something, right? And it's like Teapot Studios. Is this a studio?
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's kind of like, it's right in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's like Dunning's a small place, but it's like a village, you know. And then the studio's maybe about 10 minutes drive right up the hill, and then it's just basically in the middle of nowhere. So it's kind of like there's no phone signal or anything. So once you get there, it's kind of good, because for concentrating and getting into music, you know. And there's like and you can stay there, so it's, you know, you can record really late. And that was a good thing about actually recording with Brìghde, was we did the same thing with residential kind of studio, but it was in Ireland. There's a band called Bioga, and Sean and Neve, they're married, they're both in the band. They have their studio at their house, so they kind of just shifted off to Sean's sisters, and they gave us the house. So you're kind of waking up, the studio's 2-3 meters away, you know.
Yeah.
And then so it means you can record really late at night. Like, I mean, track 3 is Brìghde's tunes. It's actually the first time Brìghde's recorded our own tunes on an album.
Well, I don't want to make you feel bad at all, Ross, but that's the one. The first time I listened through the album, I was like, I'm going to listen through one time all the way through, then I'll go back. But that track, I had to skip back to listen to that track again.
That's my favourite track on the album, you know? And but then we recorded that really late at night, because we just wanted to get into that, because it's so chilled, and we wanted to just capture that a good vibe of that just kind of. So I think we recorded it about 2 in the morning or something.
Really?
You know, just to get that kind of real calm kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my favourite track on the album. I love it. You know, it's really simple, but it's kind of got a nice vibe to it. You know.
I want to play a little bit of Leech Coleo as well here.
Yeah.
That Bulgarian tune. And tell me again if I'm wrong here, but I feel like the first minute and a half of this tune, if there's an easy to identify like musical signature that Brìghde has, that's her. It's right here, right? This is 100. This feels like it could be on her album, The Reeling.
Got a funny thing, Brìghde, that not a funny thing, but you can tell her playing and her pipes a mile away. You know,
you can, right? It's as much her as it is her instrument. Like it's the whole package, right? It
just sounds like her. It's like I've got obviously the same pipes. My pipes are Blackwood, and they're a totally different sound to hers. Hers are like a lot mellower, but fuller. Hers are boxwood.
Oh, I've seen them. They're really light colored, right?
But I've heard other boxwood small pipes, and they don't sound like that. Honestly, she's almost like morphs into like her pipes are just like part of her, and she's just got this style of playing, and the way she kind of like her vibrato. Even in some ways she plays her G's are always really lovely sounding. You know?
Yeah. There's got to be. So there's got to be some mythological thing behind this, that like the night she was born, lightning struck a boxwood tree, and then later the pipe maker made these pipes out of that tree unknowingly.
Honestly, it's kind of like that. It's weird. Yeah. Like, and also she's got this another thing that's maybe a bit not as deep, but it's like she tunes her drones to D a lot. So normally with pipes you've got A's, and with the small pipes it's A, like two A's and an E.
Yeah.
She normally just has that E tuned to a D, and then that'll be mostly what she's got going.
Is that?
So I think
that's going to be on her C-Smallpipes. The sounding note's going to be. Does that mean a G? Technically.
Sorry. So that'd be like a B flat.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah. Gotcha. Huh.
Yeah, so she's got that. She always has it really, really. When it's that flatness that sinks in with the drones. It's like the pipe G, the pipe high G or low G.
Right.
It's once you get it, so that is in tune with your drones.
Yeah.
In a weird way, because obviously it's a tone difference, but when you can get it, when it's in that. Just intonation thing, not the what's it called? Sorry,
the other intonation, the other one.
You know when it's the kind of.
I know in my broad tuner I can change it between the two, just intonation or the other.
Yeah, just intonation, and is that just intonation? The I don't know, whatever the piano is, the Western piano. Equal temperament.
We got it.
So just intonation is the pipe scale, the pipe tuning.
Yeah.
So because it's more than like the tune to nature kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And like Jacob Collier does a good video of it. Have you ever seen? Do you know him? He's quite a total genius.
I don't think so. No.
He's basically he's a jazzer and classical musician. He's only about 26 or something. He's from London. Quincy Jones picked him up. He manages him, but he should watch videos. And honestly, he is an absolute genius. Like he's like the modern day Mozart kind of guy. But he does a good video of, and he kind of does the example of he's playing the piano, right?
Yeah.
With the third, and then he takes the third out and he whistles the note to be in tune, and then he puts the third in on the piano, and you can see how far the difference of tuning.
Yeah.
It's mental. Like the Western, was it not Mozart that kind of designed that kind of...
I'd believe it of him. Mozart or Pythagoras or somebody, right?
Something that it's actually, because it's not actually in tune. It's to make it.
It's just mathematically even from one tone to the next, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but actually, with a drone, if you go up the scale, that's why you can make that G and an A work together.
Gotcha.
So it's whatever frequency it's all vibrating on. So Brìgde's really good at getting our G's to be really beautiful with the drones, you know.
So yeah. Is it at all humbling to have made this project with her? Like, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking like Brìgde's probably been alive for less time than you've been playing bagpipes. Is it that?
No.
Am I off there?
Yes, since I've been playing, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Not being a like a professional musician, but yeah, since I played, of course, definitely.
Yeah, it's like definitely. To be hanging out with this young person who does so many amazing things that you're learning from. You must not have too much of an ego since you're open to learning new things from young people.
Ah, well, she's just a peer, you know.
Yeah.
I don't even think about that. It's just that if somebody's doing something cool, then it doesn't matter what age they're doing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I'm like I don't think even like I teach some of the people, like, to be honest, like I'm nearly 40 next year, but I feel like I've just left school in my head, you know.
Yeah, and you do teach at the Piping Center too, right?
Yeah, well, what the guys I'm teaching, I honestly, they just, in my head, I just feel the same age as them, you know. So
that's good.
I don't really have I've never really, I hope I kind of keep that, you know, I hope that's what, I just stay like that till I'm 60, 80.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah.
Because I just don't feel, like, I remember being at school looking at people that were 40, just thinking, well, that's, your life's kind of over, you know?
Right, yeah.
You're so old. Like, that's like, you're so old. But like, honestly, I just don't feel like that at all, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's good. Not only, I mean, it's admirable because not only does that keep you like open to new things and new ideas, and that comes through in your music, it also makes you approachable for these younger people who have, you know, many of them have at this point, like, they've grown up listening to your music, you know, and yet I'd imagine that this helps break down any sort of barriers to where you're an approachable person for them.
Well, I don't know. You don't hear I don't know who listens to my music. It's kind of hard to, you know, you just get on with what you're doing.
Yeah, you can't be thinking about that, but I know. I know.
I just don't know. I always thought, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be saying this on the thing, but I always thought with Gordon, if he'd been told maybe more by people what people thought of him, then maybe he would still be here. I don't know. You know, so I always think that sometimes it's like, always until somebody is not here, and then they're gonna get put on this pedestal of kind of thing. And I always wonder with Gordon, would he have been that, like, you know, would he still be alive if he was actually told or known who he was?
Yeah.
You know, it's a funny thing, you know.
Yeah, and of course situations.
But then
like
you don't want the big head as well. You know
right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of.
And it can be personally destructive if you think too much that you could have changed things personally. You know, you don't want to be carrying the weight of thinking
totally.
that either.
Totally. No, but just I'm talking universally and
right,
people that, like, because when Gordon died, he was this legend thing, you know, which he was when he was alive. It wasn't. I'm not saying that he wasn't, but it's just, why do they have to wait till they're not there, till to become this, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we don't have to put that in. I was just thinking that. As you
well, actually, I wanted to ask you, Ross, and you know, same. If you'd rather not answer, you know, it's totally understandable. But I have wondered, you know, how strong is the sort of like pedagogical relationship? How deep does that sort of musical DNA run? Like a little bit of setup. Like sometimes when I'm talking with my kids. Something will come out of my mouth that surprises me because it sounds like my dad, but I didn't mean to do that. And I've wondered before, where you learned with Gordon, do you ever, either in a private moment or in a performance, do you ever play and have something come out of your chanter that sounds like Gordon, and you go, whoa, there's there's Gordon in my music. Does that influence last this long, where he was there in your formative years?
I don't know if I think I thought about that by my playing, but I always have in mind what would Gordon do, or like I would love if some of the stuff I did sounded like Gordon, you know what I mean?
Wouldn't we all, right? Yeah.
But I definitely always have this kind of thing of I wouldn't would Gordon like this?
Yeah.
Would he approve of this, or
Yeah.
I mean, Gordon was very open-minded, so he'd probably approve of most things.
Oh man,
I think he's pushed the boundaries for all of us to or he's shown what's possible for everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Of course, I didn't know him, but I had that thought has occurred to me how much he might have loved to hear these Bulgarian tunes. Right.
Oh, he would like that. But this is the first, because obviously Gordon wasn't live when I made my first album, but he was alive when we made. When we first started working on stuff, me and Jarlath, because I used to take Jarlath up to Gordon all the time, and he loved Jarlath, He thought Jarlath was amazing, and so I think we did a radio thing, and we would play him this track, and he would always put it on repeat, It was a track called it was a tune called No More Cages, and it had Good Ryan at the end of it, and he loved that track,
Yeah.
But no, I'd love to let Gordon hear some of this stuff. But I mean, maybe that's also a reason of having the drive to kind of keep creating stuff, is because you want to kind of keep Gordon's name going.
Yeah.
As well, because it's if it wasn't for Gordon, there's no way I would be doing music, and that's a fact. Because when I was younger, I was really more into football, and I was quite a sporty guy when I was at school, but I loved football, And so I met Gordon when I was 11, and then and I was still into football then, but I was listening to the Just for Seamus album, and then I remember the night when we were at the pipe band practice, and he had brought the Circular Breath album down, and he was selling us all a copy. I remember that, like it was yesterday. So then I remember listening on the way down the roads, and just being totally listening to that Press for Time is just that is the most insane thing I've heard ever,
Yeah.
And then so if it wasn't for having these, for having Gordon, that just as being him, as a person, he was so lovable and humble and warm, kind of shy kind of guy but amazing with kids, he just we wanted to he wasn't a military guy, or with all this kind of, he was really chilled out, a chilled guy, but because of who he was and just his manner, you worked for him, because he just you have that kind of, he's just got that respect just for being, he's got a quiet respect kind of thing.
Yeah, I've heard before that there's a hierarchy of why you would work for somebody. There's at the very bottom is fear, but at the very top is love. Yeah,
it's just we were always, and it was just everyone in that band was just it was such a friend, such a good. I just got so many good memories of that being a teenager, with Gordon. And then so if it wasn't for Gordon, and I don't think I probably would just be into sports. I'd probably play the pipes, but I probably wouldn't have went and tried, because it was hearing pipes with backing.
Yeah.
Because I like pipes, but I'm not. I wouldn't listen to solo pipes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And ever really, that doesn't really get me going at all. But pipes with backing, with bouzouki and guitar, especially bouzouki, that was all from that Just for Seamus album. I was just that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so if it wasn't for having Gordon there, then I probably wouldn't have. So I almost need to repay that with whatever it is, how you repay it. But I think a good way of repaying it is by creating more stuff and trying to take on his what he was doing, and trying to make pipes more accessible as an instrument, and pushing the boundaries away in a way, and just carrying on what he basically gifted us,
Yeah.
It's,
No,
so
Well, as a fan, let me just say, please keep paying it forward. don't stop making stuff, man. Keep it up.
It's just it's funny because over COVID I didn't really have much drive for doing any stuff, and I just don't see the point if your head's not in it and you can't really be bothered if it's not like if it becomes a chore or if it becomes like work. It's just because it's just what you create. It just sounds really mediocre kind of stuff. But see when you get that kind of buzz of, you know what it's like when you get into into the flow of something, or in like 8 hours goes by and it feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of state.
Right.
Once you get into that, that's when you really make the best stuff. And to be honest, unless that happens, I don't really bother. You know, unless you got to write something for somebody or a commission or something's coming up or. But in terms of doing your own things, I think that leaving it for that spark is the best way to do it. Now, hopefully, that spark's going to arrive in winter. But I've been coming up. No, but because I want to work on some new stuff because I've not. Like obviously I was doing this album with Brìghde. I did that live album, so I've been busy doing other stuff. But I've not been writing. I've been writing, but I've not been thinking of how do I piece all this album because I want to do another journey thing. I don't want it to just be So I need, but it just takes a lot of time and making things. You know, you've got to think about how joining things on, and I've got guides of. You know, minimal tracks, wee riffs ideas, nothing like that I need to get right. You know, I need to get into the nitty gritty of it all. But I've probably got about 6 ideas, you know. But then I need another probably, I don't know, you know, another 6 anyway,
another 6 or
of
so,
ideas to get going with. So, but it's a winter sport, that kind of stuff, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah. Some shut in while the snow's falling, get some projects done.
But unfortunately, Steve, who Steve that plays the bouzouki, he's moved back to Ireland, so it's a shame. So. I loved working with Steve because we kind of work in the same way. We're quite quick once there's an idea. We normally just stick to the first idea. The thing that excites you is the bit I think is the best thing to go for, and I really don't like hearing anything after that because it just becomes I just get tired, you know. So like if something excites you, I just think that's enough.
Follow it, right?
Yeah, just
and here's evidence that that's a good method, since you heard Brìghde play in and you were like, hey, let's play, and now we've got this album out of it.
Yeah, totally.
Now this does blend right into some more stuff that some of my friends were suggesting that they'd like to hear from you. My buddy Jeremy mentions that he thought he'd heard that you teach uilleann pipes at the piping center, and I know because I saw you get him out at that little concert you did at the Teapot. You got him out for a slow air. Do you regret that? You shouldn't. They sounded good.
I've actually just got a set of drones since then.
Oh, did you?
I got a new chanter, but no, I definitely do not teach uilleann pipes.
So you're not teaching them. You get them out sometimes.
I'm a learner myself. So,
well, that's what he went on to ask was like, did you pick those up? So like I'm having fun in my imagination right now, imagining that when you met with Brìghde, you came away with a set of C-Smallpipes. And what Jeremy's wondering is, was it after doing projects with Jarlath that you picked up the uilleann pipes? Are you kind of picking these things up as you go along?
I got a set of uilleann pipes when I was 21 for my 21st birthday.
But you kept them secret.
You know, well, the thing is, I got right into them, and they weren't the best pipes. So after 3 months, the reed just kind of died. It was a shame, and then I just didn't really know anyone at that time. You know, at that time that I could get a new reed. So I just thought, well, that's it, done. You know, and then. I've always loved the Irish pipe because like through Gordon, you know, Gordon used to always let us hear Bothy Band, Moving Hearts, Davy Spillane, Paddy Keenan, all these people when we were really young. We were listening to them when we were 12, 13, you know.
Yeah.
So and they're the best sounding pipes in my opinion. Yeah. So I've always wanted to play them, but after that, like that disaster with that chanter, and then it wasn't until I was maybe in my late 20s I went to try and get another one, and then it was just like last year. 2 years or 3 years ago, I got a chanter off of Ian Kinnear, who's a Scottish small pipe maker, but he has been making uilleann pipes recently. So I bought a chanter off him, and then I wanted a key, so I swapped and then I bought some drones to go with it. So I was playing yesterday actually, but I know how it works. It's just because it's it's a different setup to the whistle. It's kind of similar, but it's still different. And there's a lot of the different gracings, like with the Highland pipes, the G grace note is your most kind of common note. That doesn't actually work on the Uilleann pipes too well. So it's adapting that, and it won't take me long, but it's also. When you're young, you've got so much more time. That's why I was raging, because when I was 21, I would be flying on them now. I'd be like, if I'd started actually playing properly then, I would be a pretty good piper, like player of them, Mm-hmm. So it's a shame. But as you get older, it's not obviously, it's like the time and the days there's not as much, and there's always other stuff on, and life gets in the way, and so I'm annoyed at that. But I'll get them, I'll get it good enough.
Yeah. No,
I've actually been playing with Duncan Chisholm recently. We do you know Duncan Chisholm? He's a fiddle player.
Oh yeah, yep.
From Wolfstone. So over lockdown, me and Dunk and Hamish have been working on his new album, writing his new album, and so I've been doing some gigs with him recently as well. And Jarlath normally plays with Dunk, but so it's another reason to get an incentive to get going with them, because I'd like to play them because obviously Jar plays them for the live gigs, so if I can get them good enough to play for Dunk, that would be good for me,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's another thing that one of my friends Rose was asking me. She wanted to know how between whistles, different kinds of pipes, then you add in your bouzouki. Like, what all do you play, Ross? You play a bunch of stuff. Is there any limit? You seem to be open to everything.
Well, I would say I play maybe 3 or 4 things, and I dabble
in the rest.
Loosely dabble on a few things, like definitely pipes and whistles. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Citterns still, I would say, a dabbling thing, but I'm maybe a wee bit more competent on it. And I've got I play a wee bit of tenor banjo, a wee bit of mandolin, a few more. I play a wee bit of bansuri, Indian flute. I've got a duduk, but I'm like very much a beginner on that, which is like an Armenian clarinet kind of instrument.
Yeah.
I dabble in the guitar, I dabble in the drum. I used to play a lot of drum kit when I was younger, but my room was just basically a full, like a drum kit everywhere. I used to spend all my money on UFIP cymbals, if I remember. But so I dabble in a lot of things, but definitely pipes and whistle. I would say that's what I play. I wouldn't say I play the cittern, because I'm just like a chord guy and just hammer it out,
So. Rose is wondering how you keep your fingering straight, and I'm curious too. Like in your head, especially like when you're switching whistles, if you're switching keys, like from one whistle to the next, are you thinking in your head the sounding note, or does your brain kind of just go back to Highland piping? Like, are you thinking A when you're playing on a D whistle and what's coming out is a D? Or like, are you mentally shifting with everything that you play? Yeah,
definitely. That you need to do that if you're playing the whistle. If you stick to playing the whistle like a piper, then it's not a good thing to do. Mm-hmm. So the best thing to do, because it doesn't take that long, a couple of months. It just takes your brain just to go, okay, that's because once you make the switch. You can basically play any pipe tune on the whistle, but you won't even have to think about it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You've got to make that distinction in your head that your A is an E, your E is an A.
Right, yeah.
Or your D is an A,
Right.
Whatever way you're thinking about it.
Well, and your whistle playing is amazing. I've been on a bit of a whistle kick lately, just thinking like my war cry has been all pipers should also be whistlers.
Definitely.
You think I'm right about that?
Definitely. There's like you're just lazy if not.
Honestly, it's just like that, folks.
you need to learn the whistle. It's like, why would you not? It's like it's the same thing basically. It just takes a wee bit of thought of just a couple of months. Make that distinction between and it's good for your playing, because then it actually opens up. Then you can play other it's like just open up that transposing bit of your brain.
Right.
Like the one thing I can kind of do it in an F whistle a wee bit, but like if you're on, so basically if I'm playing whistle, most things are in D. So if I'm on an E whistle, I'm still in D. If I'm on an A whistle, I'm still in D. Mm-hmm, you know what I mean? But I'll transpose the music to read that I'm in reading D.
Right.
But I'm kind of nearly got the F, so I could read the F like I'm. So my D is an F.
Yeah.
So, and I can sort of read music in that way, so I wouldn't have to transpose it. But I couldn't do it with every whistle.
Yeah.
That's getting into like Fraser Fifield's really good at doing that. Like he could probably read play an E flat whistle and read an E flat.
Right.
If you know what I mean. It's.
I wonder if it works like languages, where they say, you learn your second language is difficult, your third is also, but if you learn a fourth language, it gets easier, and a fifth, it gets easier,
totally. And I think there's like I think for fiddle players or violinists, there's a way that you can read. They can play viola, but you can read. But they can transpose it by reading a treble clef or something. There was a wee thing that they could do.
There's the alto clef. Is that one that you can shift on different lines and stuff too?
Yeah, I don't know what
these
that is,
music
but
tricks,
it's
right?
Yeah, all these sweet tricks of kind of. But the transposing thing is a good thing to kind of to get into. It's just a good, because pipers were so stuck in that kind of. That one octave thing, it's really, especially and that's what's good about the whistle. It gets you out of that one octave thing.
Yeah,
which I think is good to do because it depends if you just want to play pipes and be in a pipe band. It doesn't matter, but I think every piper should have a wee bit of dip their toe into the kind of folk music thing and learn the whistle, and it's just I think a lot of younger players are doing that now. It's just that they're more all rounders than when I was younger anyway.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite whistle maker, or would you rather not?
Colin Goldie.
Is that what you're always? I noticed that whatever the key, you seem to always have the same kind of whistle.
I wouldn't play any other whistles, so they're the best for sure. They're still handmade, and he's a great guy. But you need at least an hour if he's phoning you. You won't get less than an hour of a chat.
Gotcha.
He's like, but no, he's a brilliant guy. He lives in Germany. But he's English, but he lives in Germany. He used to work for Overton, which was the kind of the first design of that kind of that classic low D whistle is Overton. So Colin worked with Bernard Overton, and then he took on the business, and then now it's called Goldie Whistles. But I've always played them, and I've got a really good relationship with him, and like he even he doesn't give whistles out for free to anyone, So it's not like some of the whistle makers, they're all by factory made, so they'll just chuck some of the good bigger names all these free whistles and all that, but Colin doesn't do that to anyone, so
he knows what he's got, huh?
Yeah, we're just like he's handmade, so he's a lot of these guys that make whistles that come out of factories, they'll make in a week what he makes in a year, money wise.
Right.
So you've got to support Colin because he's there's not many people still doing that. They're all handmade,
Yeah.
And he tunes them, it's. But for me, they suit my style. I've always played them, and I just don't think you get a better whistle.
Yeah. Well, since I'm asking about kit anyway, if you don't mind geeking out with me a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to know, for you, I'm sure it changes based on the season, how much you're doing and stuff, but like, I've got this thing, Ross. Maybe everybody does this, but like, since I was a kid, I've always thought it was fun to just suddenly at random just imagine to myself, what is Jackie Chan doing right now?
Right.
Like, is he reading a book? Is he eating? Is he eating? Like, what is he doing, right? And so, in a similar way, I'm curious, like, how often does Ross Ainslie, who honestly, like, in some ways, in my head, you're kind of like this almost not entirely human figure because of listening to your music so much. Like, there are these utilitarian tasks that I do with my bagpipes that, like, I almost can't imagine you doing. Like, how often do you change your bag or season it? How often are you swapping out your drone reeds? How many sets of Highland pipes do you have? And like, do you switch? Do you take one set for a road trip, but keep another set at home? Like, what's your kit situation?
I'm really bad with all that stuff. I've got a set of Hendersons that are always set in B flat. I've only got one chanter, one reed going at one time. I've got the same easy drones that I've had in the pipes forever.
Really?
I've got I've got like the Bannatyne bag. I like them, but I've got the Willie McCallum kind of drone. The wee kind of we bought the wee kind of chips that you put in the oven after a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're good. I've got them, and I've got a set of Derek Mars pipes, and then I just tune them like a bit sharper. But I just got them recently, but they're brilliant pipes, Derek Mars, and they're the same. I've got one chanter, one reed, same easy drones, same bag, same William McCallum things. They're both set up, and then I've got probably two sets of like Highland Pipe A pipes, one Nigel Richards and one Burgess bagpipes.
Yeah.
But I would probably play the Burgess bagpipes. They were like, we bought them for like playing with Treacherous Orchestra. There's a band that me and Ali were in, 12-piece kind of band. So we wanted to, because like initially we played border pipes, but they're not the best for standing up and not as loud. So Nigel, he made us a set, and then Burgess bagpipes made us a set, and so I don't play them that much. I don't really like the sound of A pipes on their own. They kind of only really work well with if you're in a band situation, folk band situation.
Yeah.
But then, 2 sets of Highland pipes, 2 sets of A Highland pipes. I've got two sets of borders, one Nigel Richard, one Hamish Moore. I've got the small pipes A and C set up. I've got a Nigel Richard small pipe. Got the Olin pipes. Pretty much every whistle you can get.
Yeah.
And I've got a sitar, and I've got a mandola, I've got a tenor banjo. That's about all my kind of setup. Bit of bansuri, yeah.
I like to imagine that as you're listening these off, you're just looking around the room because they're all there with you, like family members, just joining in.
Most of them are. I'm sitting with my whistles right now. All here.
There they are, yeah.
But I've got I've got a studio set up in the house, which is I got a flat about 3 years ago, and so I've got a room just like a studio kind of set up. So it's nice having that because it's always ready to go. It's semi-soundproofed and stuff like that. So it's good having that. But I've not been in there much, since lockdown. So I'm hoping that's what I was saying. Like in winter, I want to get kind of working on stuff, and I'm actually thinking about maybe doing like a teaching course. Like a.
Oh man!
Like filming like a course from, but more for like beginners maybe to set, and then
I'd watch it anyway.
But like a subscription kind of thing. I think it might be quite a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So once I get my website all done up, that was one of the other things I was going to maybe just start doing some teaching things, and just put courses up, kind of like Patreon, but like more just from my own site. Right. So that was maybe another winter job to do.
Well, if you're looking for a light for a flame to be lit, Lass, right? It's perfect.
Here you
go. So let's say you're in your flat right now. You've got all these instruments. Let's say a fire breaks out. You can only grab one thing. What's your desert island instrument? If you could only have one for the rest of your life, right? What are you gonna grab to get out of there?
Whistles.
You just grab your handful of whistles, huh?
Grab a box of whistles. No, I really like playing the whistle. It's just, it feels home to me. Yeah. Even more than the pipes, I think now. I find it the best for writing music. I love the tone of it. I love the kind of diversity of it. It can fit on any kind of music whistle. Yeah. It's like, I just think it's just, for me, it just feels, my fingers feel natural on it. Well, maybe when I was younger, the pipes was more the thing, but I've kind of I like the pipes, and I like when the pipes are going and playing the Highland pipes, but I had such a struggle with border pipes over the years that it drove me insane,
Yeah.
That's why I like the small
I've heard,
pipes.
that's a common experience for people playing border pipes, that they are a struggle.
They're just a nightmare, They're just squeaky and...
Yeah.
I mean, Nigel's ones are good, but I've got a set of Hamish Moores. I just got them not long ago, but they're nice, but they're a totally different... they're a different beast to the... Nigel's ones, you have to kind of lean into them, which I like. Hamish's are very light, so it's almost a different way of playing them. They've got really good sound, though. Yeah. But I just find them really squeaky. That's why I like the small pipes. They're just out of the box, no hassle. They always sound good. Yeah. And the only one disadvantage is that you only get the the pipe scale, you don't get any of the naturals. It's one thing, which is a shame. But they're really good sound and no maintenance. You know, they just, once you get a reed, that's it. Once you know, it's, and they're out of the box and they just work. You know, that's what in the whistles the same. I think it's probably over the years of struggling with pipes and tuning, especially with like, I think if you're doing solo pipes, you're not having to be, it doesn't matter really about the tuning or where you're tuning. But see, like, because we're playing with bands, folk bands, and you have to be in 440. Right. With the struggle with that over the years, I think that's why I just like the whistle just became so much easier, you know?
That totally makes sense, yeah.
You know, I think that's probably one of the reasons I've kind of just maybe not went off the pipes, but just have a kind of, you know, I'm so wary of them, you know?
Yeah.
Just totally because it's like you're so, honestly, just trying, and in temperatures of like outdoor gigs or like playing abroad, roasting hot, or, you know, having to deal with all that stuff, playing the Hogmanay in Edinburgh outside, all that stuff. It's just like, and having to be in 440 and nobody, you can't like, I think maybe if you've got your own, like, I think depending on the players, but like some people go, well, just you tune to me, you know?
Right, yes.
But I've always played with people that just like, they want to be in 440, so it's kind of, so it's on you to get in tune, not, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a stress.
It seems like so often that's the piper, though, that comes in and says, sorry, I'm the loudest, y'all have to tune to come to my...
Well, it should be like that. It should be like that.
That's right.
But I've just never had the right people to, you know.
They're never willing.
I think it's harder to tune to another, because you've got to then you've got to calibrate your tuner.
Yeah.
When it's like, I think, you know, when people play with pipe bands, they've got, well, okay, we'll just have to, we can't really get them to play in 440.
Right.
So you have to calibrate. So it's just a bit of a stress more than if you just be in 440. But then it's a stress for you, you know.
Yeah.
But you know. So, but I did the McCrimmon competition in Lorient recently, and so it was that's basically the reason of getting these Derek Marr pipes, was to get a sharper setup, and I was enjoying it because you don't have to really bother with tuners. You just get in tune with itself, and then that's good enough.
Well, and now you've got them. This is what Big Rab was asking me, because Ali Hutton came back to a pipe band at
he
Worlds,
was doing
right?
anything. Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
So Rab's wondering when we're going to see you come back. So if you've got some pipes for it, right? That's one step in the right direction.
Well, I actually signed up for the Vale of Atholl Grade 3 recently, but I just didn't have any time, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's always a nice thought, and then you go look in your calendars. Oh, well, I can't make that one, can't make that one, can't make that, that one. So it's like, it's not fair on them as well.
Right.
So.
They can't. You don't want them depending on you and then have you not show up.
Yeah, it's not even dependent. It's just like, you know, you don't want to be the guy that just shows up on the Worlds and then you've never been to rehearsal. So
yeah,
it's more.
So you're not the kind who would be like, hey, I'm Ross Ainslie, I'll be there when I'm there.
No, I don't like that. It's not, you know, it's not cool.
Yeah.
But so it's a nice thought of going back to bands, but it's just, in reality, it's just, I don't know, I think grade 3 is a good grade to join, because there's still, you've got the medley and MSR, which is, you know, it's you can learn some, you know, it's better than just doing grade 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then you get to grade
options.
2. Grade 2 it gets a bit more serious, and grade 1's just like, there's no chance I would do grade 1. But I probably wouldn't. Oh, what am I doing?
I'd imagine that a lot of grade 1 bands would be willing to have you, though, if you decided you wanted to.
No, because I would never be, you know, because you'd have to go every week, and I probably wouldn't manage every week, and then would you want to just join to be dropped, you know?
Yeah, sure. You don't want to just be the bench warmer.
You know, holding everyone's capes.
That's right. Oh, man, can you imagine it at Worlds to have Ross Ainslie standing on the sidelines holding it?
But no, I think it would be an amazing thing to do, and for my playing, because I really, I've doing the McCrimmon competition this year, it really highlights how good all the solo players are, because I'm very much a sloppy player in terms of for that solo stuff. So it's been a good eye opener to kind of to concentrate on actual piping, not just like piping with as like any other instrument, but actually concentrating on being a piper again.
Right. Yeah.
Has been quite a good thing for my playing, because I've kind of
force you to clean up your fingers.
Yeah, because when you're doing gigs to non-pipers, you can get away with a lot more, and it's more about the kind of the rhythm of it and just getting people going a bit more.
Yeah.
But when you're getting judged, it's like it's a whole different world, eh?
Right, absolutely.
And it's just so it was good, and I think I'll try and do more of that, because I need to do that for my playing, because I would only really practice the pipes if I'm writing something or recording, or I would never do it for my own enjoyment at home, or a strict practice regime. I've not done that for so long.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for me, and because I don't want the piping to slip, and I think it has, in terms of that, of being a piper, and that kind of that sense. So, and I'd like to keep it up, because Gordon was, it's like phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah.
So and it'd be a shame just to be just like a folky piper that's can't go and stand up and play to a load of pipers and be impressive. You know what I mean?
That definitely is part of what's amazing about Gordon, right? Like he had the chops within the competitive community to be able to say, look, what I'm doing with the way he was pushing the envelope. It's like you had to pay attention to him, because you can't dismiss him. It's not like he's not good. He's amazing.
And Fred's the best all rounder there is. You know? And guys like, who else is there? Like Lincoln Hilton, he's brilliant at both.
I can't understand his fingers, man. They're so
amazing.
I showed those videos to my own kids. I'm like, look at this guy's fingers. They're like pistons. This is like a machine. Look at these go.
No, I love Lincoln's playing. I love his writing as well. He's been doing some really cool stuff. Yeah. But a lot of the younger guys now, they're more all rounders than when I was younger. So I think it's a really. It's brilliant to have both, but I've let the kind of pipe thing slip for years, because I just never. There's been nothing. I've never had to do it, So.
Yeah.
But so what I like, the Lorient competition is really good. It's a bit more musical than I don't think I would ever do the games, because I can't play P-Rock, and I'm not a good MSR player. So, but the Lorient thing is good, because it's like an Irish, Scottish, and Breton. There's three kind of different things, so it's a bit more. It's more fun, and it's like they're medleys of either, so it's not like you have to play MSR or you can you pick a load of good tunes and play
kind of more open borders there.
So it's I wish there was more competitions like that, actually, that were just solo pipe competitions, but it was like open, more of a musical kind of thing. Right. But
Can I promised you an hour. Now I'm taking more than that.
No, you're fine.
You sure you don't mind?
Yeah.
I wanted to pull you back into another track here. And again, tell me if I'm wrong. If track 8 sounded like Brìghde's musical fingerprint in the opening, I thought maybe track 9 is like kind of an answer in a way, because track 9, which is called Irish, to me, that when it opens up, it sounds like a very Ross Ainslie lick, the way that opens up.
Right, no, they're all trad tunes, apart from the third tune in that. It's a Nile Valley tune.
That's all trad, huh?
Yeah, they're all trad, old Irish tunes, and I guess Gordon was sorry, on you go.
I was just curious if Steve have any influence in the Irish selection?
No, not really. No, it was just I think I came up with the first two, Brìghde came up with the third, and then Gordon, the last tune is off of Gordon's Just for Shame's album. Yeah. So, they're just, to be honest, pretty straight ahead, just picked a load of tunes and went for it. mean, there's a lot of these sets. Honestly, were put together as for fun.
Yeah.
Not much thought. It was like, that's a good tune. That's a good tune. Right? Does it go better before or after? You know, it's like that. It was really that quick. You know.
Yeah, it flows naturally though. I think that was a good method because it sure feels good.
Yeah, as long as you get the right, as long as you get good key changes, then you're laughing, you know.
Yeah.
Especially just the way that this is recorded. It's like it's definitely more a session live vibe album.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's created with definitely a session vibe, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that feels really good. My buddy JD is wondering if you were to boil down your music, like in general terms, your entire music, you're composing everything you do, right? If you were to boil down your music into 3 key ideas, do you have an idea what those 3 ideas or 3 statements would be?
Well, like genres.
Oh, genres, or I mean, whatever comes to mind. How would you define your music? I guess maybe is a way to put it.
Well, I really like world music. I played in a few like weird kind of collaboration-y bands. Like there was a band I played in called Indie Alba. It was like an Indian and Scottish mix, and then I played with a salsa and Scottish mix band. And I think I like to try and I like fusion music. Even just when I listen, I like. I don't know if you've heard that Bailiff Fleck Live at the Quick album.
Oh, I've listened to everything Bailiff Fleck has ever done.
You know, like,
for sure, man.
We used to listen to that album so much, and we used to watch it as well. You know.
Yeah, I'm crazy about Bailiff Fleck for sure.
You know, I think he would be one of my biggest influences. So I kind of like, you know, trying to fuse. Like you also obviously come from Scotland and I play Scottish folk music, but I think like modern. It's like trying to like take that music, but then fusing it with like other music from around the world, and trying to learn as well as you go. And you know, if I don't know if I can kind of. I don't know. I like world fusion kind of music, and I think that's been my kind of aim, is to try and, especially with the Sanctuary and the Van album, is to just try and make Scottish music work in many different genres, and try and make it so it's not like a sellotape thing. Try and, you know, fuse it well so it's kind of sounds like it's meant to be, if you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah, it's not fusion for fusion's sake. It's great music that is also fusion, right?
Yeah, trying to, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're not trying to, like, you know, so just when you listen to it, you just it's like, okay, that I like that. It's a good piece of music, rather than going, no, that's Scottish music with a bit of something in there or something. You know what I mean? You want it to try and just be like, I don't know. It's almost like. It's almost trying to create your sound. You know what I mean? If like when somebody hears it, they can hopefully go, oh, that sounds like something. You know, if you hear Bailiff Fleck's in the Flecktones, you know exactly. I mean, for obviously instrumentation, but you know, with Victor Wooten's playing and Future Man's drumming, you know what that band is. And I suppose if you can get to a point of when somebody listens to a track and goes, oh, I know exactly who that is. Yeah. Then you can't do any better than that, I suppose. So, I suppose that's probably a goal of, you know, to try and just create a sound that's yours, rather than, you know, copying somebody else's, or, you know, you want to try and make a stamp in the music world in some way, and if you can do that by creating a sound that's pretty much yours, then I don't know. I suppose that's...
No, that makes a lot of sense with other things I've heard you say before, and with your music. It's like, because I guess, feel free to tell me if I'm missing it, but it seems to me like in some way, every individual is like a bundle of their experiences and the things that they encounter as they go through life, and you bounce off of these different things, and it's like, I think it was Hegel who had this idea of this dialectic where you'd have a a thesis, and then it would crash into a synthesis, or excuse me, an antithesis, and then between the two of them, you get something new, a synthesis that comes out of that.
Yeah,
and, and I think I feel like I can definitely see that happening in a lot of your music, and it makes a lot of sense to me, and that actually makes me wonder too. Like I remember when you did that interview with Rab years ago, I think now. You mentioned that when you're composing, it's like you're being given gifts. As long as you've got your antenna up, you're going to receive them. So you got to be open to receiving them. And it makes me wonder, Ross, like what influences other than music do you feel like might come into your music? Like food, paintings that you see? Like, do you feel like are you pulling inspiration from everything? You know what I mean? And like, are there influences, like maybe I could listen to one of your tracks and go, I can see he was influenced by Bela Fleck for that. But maybe I would be listening and I wouldn't know that you had baked some scones and that gave you an idea for a tune. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, obviously I do love cooking but I'm not one for like that kind of. Maybe I should be more, but like I wouldn't go for a walk up a hill and go, like a tunes just came to me there, or I'm going to go and whistle a tune. They always come at, you can never explain when they arrive or how they arrive. It's almost, but they like I never get a melody really, and I've had a few that I wouldn't get a melody that I hear in my head and then I whistle it too much. I'll always be playing it. So I'll be playing the thing and I was like, oh, that sounds cool,
Yeah.
And then go back and try and make a part. So I always generally like the kind of process, I like to try and get a riff or some kind of motif in every part that you're writing. So it's kind of so if I've come up, it might be even 4 or 5 notes, that's something that you've something just what it's like, it just catches your ear, it's like that hook or something,
right?
And then if you can get a few hooks in that part, even better, but like one's enough, and then if you can kind of sculpt around that, then it's and then try and do the same for the next part. But in terms of but that's when I say that's like the gifts thing, because it's like, because you don't know what because it's not, you've not had to try to do these things. It's kind of like I think when you try to do it, that's like what I was saying, it becomes like a job, like work, and it always sounds really like it's almost like it's so obvious or something.
Right, contrived maybe.
Contrived, yeah. But when these wee gifts arrive, it's like so natural, and it's like they instantly make sense,
Yeah.
But you just don't get them. Sometimes you'll get loads of them in a short space of time, and then you just won't get anything for ages. And then, but it's just not been worried about it, because I've never really been. It's never really bothered me that kind of if I can't write something, I just you always know it's just just wait about.
It'll come.
It just comes eventually, and normally when one's there, then you're like, and then you're into it. That's you need to like free your time up a bit, and jump on it and make, and then that's when I do most of my work, and I'll probably do it, over a couple of weeks, and then I'll just and just sit back for a bit. And
so it kind of all comes in a kind of a
definitely for sure.
Do you do? Speaking of Bela Fleck, I've heard him talk before about how like when ideas come to him, he kind of old school. He would call himself and leave himself a voicemail, right, and like sing the idea to him. Do you do any kind of recording thing like that to keep those licks in mind, or do you usually just like, do you write them down? Like, how do you hold on to these ideas when they first
always
come in?
Just on the voice memos. I've got if I've got a wee riff or even when I'm trying to, like, after I've got the riff or the motif or the hook or whatever, I'll always record the process of trying to sculpt that part. Because a lot of times you'll come up with another wee bit, and then actually it doesn't work in that bit, but that's my wee second part riff.
And then they kind of work together, right? Because they're kind of born from the same idea.
So I do a lot of that, but then I try not to do like my pal Hamish Napier, he does a lot of writing. He'll set the thing off and go and keep it going for hours and hours, and I just can't be bothered going through. It's like going through that. Remember I was saying about I hate editing.
Right, I was gonna say, speaking of not liking editing,
so it's just so I try to do it in like 10 minutes max bursts, or 5 minutes, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, my phone's full, all that kind of stuff. But then when I've got the actual, even when I've got one part, I'll always write the one part down, and then when it's finished, I'll always write it down when it's finished.
Yeah.
But then, and then I've got a Dropbox full of, like, you know, I'll have a new album folder sitting all the time, and I'll always just kind of add stuff to that, and then. So I'm constantly going through like the Dropboxes. There's loads of different ideas, and then once I've got a solid plan, I'll start another Dropbox of like album 5 or whatever, or album 6.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'll start dumping in guides and all that kind of thing. But I love that process. I like the process of of making an album like that, because it's just exciting, and I love going back to see, you know, if you hear the guide of once you finish the album, then you go back to the guide of you just sitting in your room with all your MIDI stuff, and you know, it's I love listening back
and see how it,
because sometimes I actually prefer the guide, you know.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's got that kind of just that really relaxed way thing of you sitting about, you know, not the actual sounds, but the way that I've played them in.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm not even thinking it'll be a really, you know, crappy mic or whatever. You know, I'll just put up a 58 or something sometimes, rather than setting up all. But sometimes the actual vibe of you playing. Because actually, I think it was like in Vanna, the start of Vanna. It was on the Bansuri. I think I kept a lot of that first opening Bansuri as me in the room with a 58.
Was that The Science of Life, that track?
Yeah, a lot of that is because I couldn't play it any better in the studio.
Really?
You know.
Huh. That's funny. I never would have guessed. Like, in no way does it seem like unprofessional or anything like that. Like,
no. It's just a proper record. I've got good recording gear at home, but it's just I just couldn't recreate it in front of, like, in the studio. Just the vibe wasn't as good, you know.
Huh.
It's funny.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of like stuff happens in your room that you just can't do in the studio because you've got that red light syndrome thing. Right.
So you know, is that part of the draw then too of this live recording idea, where like let's just all get together and be looking at each other instead of at that red light?
Yeah, I mean you can get that as well because it's just of being in a studio environment, but
yeah.
I think the thing of playing live together, it's more of a unit rather than it's not all about you kind of thing.
Yeah,
so it's like,
sure.
And then but once you're all rehearsed, you know, if you just do 2 or 3 takes of that all together, I mean, you're going to have it, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's just a different way of recording it. I think it's just more fun.
Yeah.
Way to look back on something, and it feels more of an adventure rather than, you know, sitting in their wee stuffy ISO booth, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But so have you done much recording yourself?
Oh, just hobby stuff myself, you know, just a little. I do play with a little folk band, and so we have gathered together into one person's basement or the other, that kind of stuff, and some little things by myself, but nothing to large scale for sure. Yeah.
But no, it's really fun, and you can get good home setups now. I mean, lots of people have got their. I mean, like if there's this wee, like if I have to do overdubs or sessions for somebody, I'll always do it at home. I'll never really go in the studio anymore unless you know it's a band thing. You know, there's the stuff you can get now is amazing. Like yeah.
So this album, Lass or Loss. What do you coming away from it, right? And remember, like anybody listening, I'm going to have links to where you can get it as of September 2nd and everything down below.
Yeah.
But kind of coming away from having kind of put this together, and now it's fully packaged, it's out there in the world. Maybe this will change over time, but as of today, what do you feel like you come away from this project with? What carries forward with you into the future?
Well, to be honest, it's because of the COVID thing. It was kind of because we were on a bit of a roll with meeting up and rehearsing and stuff like that, and then we'd booked to record in April 2020, and then we obviously couldn't. So it's good to get this done because it means then we can now start looking at newer sets, you know, because it's almost, and then also we can do gigs now as well. So it's, well, it was going to just be it's a wee project that we'll hopefully we just really want to do some festivals, maybe one tour a year or kind of, you know, but mostly just like, you know, festivals abroad, that kind of thing. And then because it's quite a straight ahead kind of thing, it means you can kind of get some sets together quite quickly. You know, it's like it's relatively painless. You know. Yeah. So,
do you anticipate going to Bulgaria at all with some of these tunes?
It would be great, yeah. I mean, we need to start looking at gigs for next year. But Brìghde's got a good agent over in Europe, and they were quite keen on taking it on. So, I'm sure we can get over to Bulgaria. And then, like, you know, in Europe, the love of pipes in Scotland's, you know, it's pretty amazing. There's lots of great festivals you can do over there. So,
do you feel like, Ross? Maybe I don't know. Maybe this is a bigger question, and maybe I'm totally wrong. Like I've been wrong before, where like I thought that there was something new in the piping world, but it turns out that it's always been there. I just was personally ignorant about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But where you mentioned that like Brìghde is like bringing the interest in C-smallpipes into the current, right? Is the piping community in general kind of looking to the east a little more, by which I mean the British Isles and sort of the Western Hemisphere? Are we in the Western Hemisphere piping, are we looking at Eastern Hemisphere piping more today than we have previously? Or was I just ignorant of it until Brìghde started playing Bulgarian stuff?
I think some people are, but I don't think in the whole pipe band scene or anything that is there yet. But if you look at like the Breton pipe bands, the Bagads, they're way ahead of the rest of the kind of pipe community in terms of music wise and the way they perform it, and also the way they compete with it, because they're competing is basically doing a gig. Yeah, they do a performance. It's not like it's. Obviously, we do performances with the pipe bands here, but it's more of a, how would you call it? It's more of a, you wouldn't say musical performance. It's kind of putting down bands here, but it's more of a, you know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. It's maybe less military, a little
less
more
less military, and not so like standardized. It's kind of it's a lot freer in terms of the. I mean, the music they pick is always from a certain region of Brittany. So and that way they have to kind of follow that criteria. But
and I don't know if it's always this way, but I've seen competitions where they actually stand in like a semicircle facing the audience instead of in a circle. Where
it is. It's a performance to an audience. It's not about a judge. It's for judges, but it's definitely a performance to an audience kind of thing, rather than But the actual, but they're a bit more. They're just the what they're allowed to have is a bit more free. I don't think they're allowed to have backing, but they can have like tuned percussion kind of thing. I think that's allowed, and the bombards and just. I don't know. I think there maybe should be another slant of competing that bands have to do. You know, maybe like every year. At the Worlds, like the band every year has to do a pre-Worlds. They pick one band to do the pre-Worlds concert. Yeah. They should maybe just make the pre-Worlds not as also a competition, but it's like they space out over the whole day. So it's easier for bands to get together because every band just has to get one more suite of music, 10 minutes, say. Right. Yeah, 10 minutes of music. Yeah. Then they should maybe do that as a. You know, it'd be quite cool if it was obviously if everyone has their medley set and their MSR, but then if they had a concert set that they did as well. Set, yeah. You know, and they had different judges, not maybe pipe band judges. They have like I don't know, anyone they could bring in any old musicians and it's more of a I think then it would open it out to be in, more accessible.
Yeah,
I think
it'd be it'd be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, maybe they don't have to wear kilts or something like that.
There we
they can
go.
just,
yeah,
or something like that. It just makes it like. But I don't know how feasible that is. But I don't think it'd be too hard to do. To be honest, you could just do it in the concert hall all day.
Yeah, you've already got the place and they've already got the music, so let's just put on the show and have them wear silly hats instead or something, right?
You could do anything, but not cheesy.
Right,
not cabaret.
Right.
But like still classy music, but just like a.
Not cabaret yet. After we get this established, then the next thing will be the night after Worlds. We'll have the cabaret night where all the bands are required to do their cabaret set.
No, we'll forget about that one. But no, I think it would be cool. But I don't know. I think maybe it'll get there at some point.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? I think it would be good because it's just. I think people would. The audiences would enjoy it, but also the players would enjoy it as well.
Yeah, it sure sounds fun.
Yeah.
I like the idea. Well, Ross, maybe I can bring us to a graceful close here with one more track. Kind of just going back to some very traditional stuff. You got a set of Strathspeys bays and reels on here. It's track 7.
Yeah.
So we've got some familiar forms here. I feel like maybe as we're going into it, I'm just curious, like, how much had you and Brìghde played together? Because as I listen to this track especially, it's really clear to me that you're very good at playing right in sync with each other. Like, your F doublings are so tight together. Have you played a lot? I feel like you guys maybe did Celtic Colours a while ago or something like that.
Celtic Colours, just done a few things that Celtic Connections, but no, we're just basically sitting in the house really playing. But we've not done much. I think maybe our styles just work well together because we do have different styles, but both in the same. Like, Brìghde's definitely got more of a Highland kind of way of playing. But I suppose I do as well. But yeah, it just seems I was noticing that as myself listening back. I said it's a really tight album. There's no editing in that at all. We've not went in and fixed like notes here and there. So because you can't, because it's all we're all playing live. Yeah. But we were quite chuffed with that actually.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, but no, Brìghde put these ones together, the Strathspeys and Reels. That's our set. So. But no, but thanks for having me on and playing some of these tracks. It's much appreciated.
No, thank you, man. Yeah,